We'll talk about things and stuff and things.
I think I have
and more things.
I have a semi-charged phone.
And in case you're wondering why we're always in the waist up, that's something you'll have to wonder about.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Down.
Anyway, he's Bullet Marks. I'm Cthulhu the Dark One. This is our little thing we do every week to try to be famous on the internet, and hopefully one day it'll catch on. If not, then whatever. A little podcasty sort of thing we do called the Roundtable, and this is episode 24, I believe. We're doing
25.
I don't know.
It's 25.
It's 25.
It's 25.
You'll see the number in the title.
It's after Thanksgiving. We're stuffed with turkey.
Well, funny thing is, I didn't mind because, I love my family.
Right.
To a point.
How much do you love your family?
Well, it's just one of those things, everybody's different sort of thing.
Right.
And, just the way I've grown up, it's going to make me sound like an asshole, which I am, but, because, I got one of those families, God forbid something happens, everybody would be there for me.
Right.
But in the same respect, I'm completely honest. It's just I just don't care. Because it's just I'm not doubting, God, like I said, God forbid something happened to my mom or dad. I know people would be there for me.
Right.
But in the same respect, it's come Thanksgiving or come Christmas, it's well, who's showing up?
Yeah.
I remember Christmases at my aunt's house where you'd have to take shifts of people because there'd be so many people. Last Christmas, there were 6 of us. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it. People get their own lives and da-da-da-da-da. But, that's where I'm just at. It's I don't care. It's brought to you by...
Sparkling Ice.
Sparkling Ice. Please sponsor us.
It's good stuff. 0 calories?
That'll be our beg. Well, every week we'll try to have something where we beg for sponsorships. But anyway.
Sparkling Ice this week.
But anyway, I had to work this Thanksgiving. And I think I'm going to work at a local theater. I know holidays are big at theaters, but honestly, Black Friday, I worked Black Friday, and then the following Saturday, and then it ended up working yesterday morning.
Oh, wow. But you worked Black Friday.
Dude, it was pretty bad. The first one had enough to account for it. Yeah. The second load was pretty busy, which was everybody's awake. Oh, well, let's catch a movie before we leave town.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's like Christmas Day.
But honestly, Sunday was worse. Oh, my Lord, dude.
Did any movies even come out this week?
No. But anyway, so... Still a pretty cool, fun job. Just need to get more hours, sort of thing. What can you do?
Give it time.
Hopefully.
When summer hits.
Now you mentioned. Yeah.
He will work.
You mentioned last week. Because of people you kept, you've been watching more Disney Channel shows. And stuff of the nature. I've always been more of a Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network person myself. Comedy Central.
I like Cartoon Network, but yeah.
FX, because whatever. If nothing else, it's noise.
Yeah.
But recently in Slight TV News, after 5 years, iCarly had its last episode.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
It was one of those shows where it's just it's long. Well, might as well watch it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of me. I never oh, the new iCarly special. Oh my God, no. I caught it when I caught it.
It's just it's ending. That's my reaction.
It's been 5 years, and it was actually a spinoff from Miranda Cosgrove from Drake and Josh.
That was a funny show. I actually did watch Drake and Josh.
I didn't see that much of it. Yeah. What I did see, I liked. I really liked iCarly because, iCarly had that good balance of and I'm actually going somewhere with this, not to just run it, but it had that good balance of it's a kid show and had that kind of it's demographic humor, oh, it's funny when people fall and haha, goofy adult stuff like that. But it was never that's what drove the show. It also would have a point to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I don't know if it's necessarily its replacement. But I know Jeanette, one of the actresses, the blonde girl, Jeanette McCurdy, or Sam, is the character on iCarly. She's actually getting a show. It's not a spinoff.
Spinoff? Or
it's a spinoff. She's gonna be Sam, and it's bringing in somebody else. I don't know the plot or whatever, but I know she's getting a spinoff. Everyone else, I don't know.
I Sam.
I know, yeah, right. But like I said about the replacement,
aren't they 20 now or something like that? Because when you
they're 20. Yeah, I think, or they're at least 19 or 20.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, I don't know if it's replacement, but it was coincidental that the last episode of iCarly happened, and then this new show premiered afterwards, which leads you to believe.
It already premiered?
No, it was after it, in the lineup. And it was called Marvin.
Marvin.
Okay. So here's the plot.
Okay.
An alien
Oh, where have I heard this from?
hiding with humans. That's the basic. I won't go into it. What really... the commercials, I'm like, okay, Mark from Work, Mark and Mindy, kind of, I'm like, typical... Here's what threw me off, and I knew it would be garbage right away. Now, granted, I know this is objectable to your own opinion, but it stars the guy that got famous for Fred.
Oh, the Fred guy? Oh, God.
So, okay, first of all...
annoying voice?
No, he's like himself. Well, you know, like...
I've never even seen Fred, so...
Be thankful.
I didn't know he's an annoying kid.
That's what I was getting to.
Oh, okay.
Now, don't get me wrong, I do realize it's the internet. If nothing else makes you famous, stupid shit does.
Well, yeah.
But there's that fine threshold. You know, of
Can you transfer internet famous into...
Of like, haha, that's funny because he's stupid, to it's Rebecca Black or it's Fred.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my god, why did I click on this?
Yeah.
So, okay, step one is like, I can't believe that he was ever big enough as Fred even come close to getting a TV thing.
Well, it's Nickelodeon.
I don't care. Second, there was a Fred TV show, in case you didn't know that.
Well, I knew there was a movie, so I didn't know there was a Fred TV.
And then he made TV movies to coincide with the show.
He actually had like a motion picture movie.
And I don't know. And then, and now he's in this. And I really tried.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll try. You never know.
Well, it's weird because
No.
I haven't watched Disney Channel.
I'd rather watch a marathon of Johnny Test than watch 5 minutes of that.
God.
That was horrible.
That's horrible. It's like, I didn't really watch like Disney Channel. Like, I actually stopped watching Disney Channel. Like,
I would catch
probably like, I did watch a little bit of Hannah Montana, but I probably really stopped really watching.
What was that? You watched a little?
A little bit. I seen a little bit of it. But what was the show with Hilary Duff? Was the one I
stopped
watching.
Well, that was kind of our time to watch it. Well, not necessarily that specific
what was
show.
The name of that show? That's gonna bug me. I've been thinking of this Hilary Duff.
Yeah. Oh my God. Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah. That was
okay. Anyway,
yeah, she's more around our age.
I watched, I watched it mostly when Phineas Ferb was getting big, and when it's not necessarily not big, but they kind of...
Still watching Phineas Ferb.
Yeah. But anyway, so, you know...
Although I recently didn't start watching it until now.
It's out there.
Yeah, so actually it's like... You actually sit there and watch Phineas Ferb, it's just like...
But, you know, it's one of those things, every time
this is actually pretty fucking funny.
Every time you see the end of a series, it's just kind of weird, because it's like, you don't really think of it.
Lost. Did you ever watch Lost?
No, not really.
I didn't watch a single episode of Lost until they said it was going out there, and I watched it, and it'd be like, okay, they land on this island. Just to find out, at the end, they're all dead. I'm just like...
Spoiler.
Well, it's been 3 years. If you haven't seen it or read up about it by now.
But, I mean, it's kind of like the irony of, like Doctor Who. Our good friend. Well, no, I know it's still around, but I'm saying, like, you know, recently I got Jay into it, and he had the plus of, you know, like, he got into it right when, like, the second bulk of season 6 was starting new, but he wanted to catch up on everything. So, you know, he was enjoying watching Eccleston, watching Tenet, and then, you know, getting into Smith, and then watching the new, but it's like, then came the ironic part of, he's caught up.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucked.
He's like,
because 1 minute, you know, like,
you're watching every
weeks and weeks you have just, oh man, I got so much to watch, and it's all like, oh,
I gotta wait
till Christmas. Damn it!
What's the deal with the Christmas anyway? Something special always happens on Christmas.
They do a Christmas special. It's
like something big happens to him or something, doesn't it?
Traditionally, it's usually when they introduce a new companion or introduce a new doctor,
right.
Or it's just a thing they've done since the show started. They just have a Christmas special.
It's a Christmas special, but something big happens.
You know, this one they introduce a new companion. So
is that hot brunette?
Yeah. Jenna Louise Coleman. But anyway, enough rambling. We'll get to something important. I have some toy news while you work on your... Because I know today was Cyber Monday, but I didn't bother
Cyber Monday has
looking into it.
Decent deal.
And granted,
nothing bigger since Black Friday. I mean,
but
there's nothing to be like, oh, it's Cyber Monday, I've got to buy this.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Compared to, it's Black Friday, I really got to fucking buy it.
So, toy news. Over on BigBadToyStore.com, please sponsor us. They have, they started taking pre-orders for toys from presumably the next season or part of the season of Transformers Prime, which will be entitled Beast Hunters. They're dated for January next year. They're taking pre-orders. You can get the set of them. The only ones that are available in the first set, other than I think Optimus was there, and maybe a Megatron. I don't recall seeing him, but the main normal size figures are Bumblebee, Wheeljack, Soundwave, and a new one. Its written name, and I really tried to look into this. Every site you can pre-order it or whatever, it's written as Laserback.
Laserback?
Apparently, I don't know. Originally, it was thought to be Laserbeak. And, like, maybe he mutated and became his own character, because it is kind of a bird griffin-y thing. Mm-hmm. And the new Soundwave comes with Ravage instead of Laserbeak. It is written Laserback. I checked, like, dozens of sites. I don't know.
Laserback.
There it is. The set runs, all four runs for $59.99, or, now this is what I thought was interesting about it. Each of them run for about $17 single. And this is pretty much across all sites you can find them on.
Right.
What's interesting about that, I've mentioned it before in a couple things, I think even on here, when the Fall of Cybertron figures hit, and how shitty they were for the increased price of $15, you're seeing it again.
Oh, God.
You're looking at this class of figure for $17.
Really?
And then this class for almost $30. So you're looking at a hike about $5 to $10.
Oh, that ain't even a plastic deal anymore. They cannot justify plastic.
So, food for thought. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just crazy to me. Because I know
because this figure.
They ran those in stores now are about $13, $14-ish, $15 if you find for some reason a store has them selected. Be careful, a lot of him will rub off on you.
Okay, this is Ratchet, right?
Yeah. But and big shout out, since you grabbed him, big shout out, I actually might buy them and buy another Ratchet. You can watch my review on my channel. I did a lot of Sharpie. I did a lot of Sharpie repainting on him to make him even halfway screen accurate. Yeah. And I mentioned that in my review. You can go watch it. I won't go into it. But recently, big shout out. There's a bunch on TF Source. Good God, that was fruity.
Well, this Kiwi Strawberry by Sparkling Ice sponsors.
Yeah. It's called Repro Labels. Okay. And it's one of those kind of like third-party, unofficial Transformer product sort of thing. Like kind of like, you know, you can find it on TF Source, and you know, it's Transformer stuff, but not really. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And this is sticker sets for existing figures, and the one for Ratchet, just. I saw a review. Big shout out to him. He's a big Transformer reviewer on him. Pia. He showed his Ratchet after putting the stickers on it, and I'm like.
Where was this before?
I mean, all the others, they do get improvements.
Yeah.
You know, little details, better details, but Ratchet was night and day.
I almost bought that Metal Tech Transformers?
Oh, but yeah.
The stock cars, just because they were stock cars.
Oh, yeah, the Tech ones.
I thought
but anyway, so possible
$5 at Family Dollar.
Possible price increase, heads up, that would suck. Also, over on Big Bad, they have an exclusive Transformers Prime toy. It is a Dark Guard Optimus Prime. And it's pretty much that Optimus Prime, but it's black and gold. And it looks, I will show it to you, because it looks absolutely bitchin'. And it's exclusive to them. And what is the Japan version is Takara, which usually makes it just a bit more expensive.
Convoy.
No, it actually is referred to Dark Guard Prime. They've, for the most part, gotten over that.
Right.
Yeah, they pretty much call them the same names now.
No, there's no longer Convoy.
Yeah. But anyway, you can pre-order him for $80. So he is a bit expensive, but I recommend if you like Transformers Prime or you like Optimus, it's probably one of the best repaints I've seen in a good while.
Right.
Because it's like something just as simple as a little bit of gold here and there. He looks really bad.
Very kick-ass.
Yeah, so, and then, let's see, a couple other little things I found. One major one over on AlterEgoComics.com. I mentioned last week a huge 21-inch Poison Ivy statue that was awesome looking. Now they've taken pre-orders for another 21-inch tall Freddy Krueger premium format. And
cloth clothes?
Yeah, cloth clothes on a statue. It's just him kind of standing. He's got like a raggedy doll. In one hand, it's like his claw hands out here like this. It's really awesome looking. It's 21 inches tall. And it's $321.
So,
but on that one, they do have a payment plan option. That's the cool thing about AlterEgoComics.com, unlike a lot of other big, oh my god, that's expensive sites, like where you just got like, fuck, I need the money to buy it at once. They actually, a lot of their more expensive products.
We have a payment plan.
Yeah, no, seriously, like if it's over, I'd say $150 is usually what they do. They'll let you make payments.
That's cool.
And that's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, game news. Last week, we finally got another pinball table for Pinball FX 2. Thank you for... Well, no, you had told me it was coming, and then I just checked it and found it.
Civil War.
And I actually went out at 1 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday to get the points to get it.
Yes.
It's based on the Civil War storyline from Marvel.
It's weird not seeing any games over there again.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's a really bad table.
It is a really bad table?
It's just lame.
Wow.
I was really surprised. You know, we had a discussion last week of how I'm playing the Pinball Arcade now, and it's based on real tables and how it's different from Pinball FX, because Pinball FX uses stuff that couldn't exist in real life.
Like that one table.
I mean,
was it Mars?
Well,
the
Mars.
stupid spaceship that flies in front of you? Oh my god. I hate
and anti-gravity and all sorts of other things. But anyway, it's
By the way, I'll be broadcasting that.
It's a simplistic table of ramps. And nothing, like, impossible to hit. And, you know, if you're good at decent pinball, get used to it. But, like, the thing about the Civil War storyline, even though they kind of went back and undid everything and marveled but they had a lot of superhero fights, a lot of... You just don't get that. Mm-hmm. All you have, as far as, like, not what could exist on a real pinball table, I'll call it, is you have Cap over here, an animated Cap, and an animated Iron Man.
Right.
And basically what you have to do, you have to hit certain ramps in certain orders, so many times, and you're basically playing the pinball table equivalent of a politic debate.
Yeah.
Just think about that and think how interesting it sounds, and you're probably right. I mean, you can try it, they do have trials of it, but I mean, the only really big set piece you get is like when you're trying to win over a hero.
Right.
And like, basically what it'll do is like you start it, and like, it's like Cap and Iron Man are fighting on the table, and what it does, like, in order to give you the time to hit the ramps, it's kind of like super slow-mo. Like, you know, like they'll be coming and whoa, and then when you hit the ramp, like if you if you choose your side in the beginning, and like if you're Iron Man, and like if you miss the ramp, then Cap will hit you and the mode will end. But if you hit it, Iron Man will hit him and it'll go to the next step and so on. Like I said, it's just not... doesn't do it for me. It's not a bad table. Like it's not
exciting.
Yeah, it's not exciting compared to. I mean, you know, like the last one I did was Plant vs Zombies, where you played.
Like
Plant
the Avengers table was pretty exciting.
Yes, had tons of stuff going on.
Yeah, I like that one. That one had you could play 6 different balls.
Yeah, you picked
each hero.
And they each had their own abilities and stuff like that.
I like that table. That was probably one of my favorite tables on there.
But I mean, like I said, it was just kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And it was actually cheaper than normal. Maybe that's why.
That's fine.
It was only like...
He couldn't think of any ideas, but
that's my point. It's like, you know, that whole stuff... Now, granted, like I said, at the end of the day, they ended up undoing everything. Cap being dead, everyone knowing Peter Parker was Spider-Man, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But the point is, if you're basing it on the event, you can have all that stuff. You know, it's like you had... Thor fighting people. You had Hulk. You know, it was just like you had all these fights that could be simulated, but it just didn't happen. All you're doing is like, hey, hit this ramp 3 times, and Spider-Man joined your side. Well, congratulations. You don't see him.
You don't see him.
You see a picture. You see a picture in the dot matrix. But I mean, like,
you got Spider-Man. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just not fun. I get comparatively.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's bound to happen. But, you know, it can't all be gems, sort of thing. I mean, you look at the original Pinball FX1 tables, they're pretty fucking lame. But...
That's probably why I didn't buy much. When's the last time you've been excited for a book?
Walking Dead.
I haven't...
And or anything Bruce Campbell had anything to do with.
I have Disney Sky.
Evil Dead, Army of Darkness related.
Anyway,
or his autobiography.
I'm actually pretty excited about this one myself. If you don't know, they finally released, or are going to release, a collection.
Actually, I am intrigued in this too, just because there's never been an established
storyline. But they're releasing the Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia, which is supposedly going to cover the official timeline of Legend of Zelda. Yeah. Which it's never been
completely established.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But this is from
Miyamoto himself. Yeah.
And it's being brought here by Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah. It'll definitely be cool to look into, that's for sure.
And they're also releasing a collector's edition of this book. I don't know what's in it, but it's listed price is $70, but on Amazon they have it going for about $46. So, I mean, that's something cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They have a trailer for it. I mean, I've never seen a trailer for a book other than Dean Patterson on the screen, like, buy my new book.
Right? Like, what? Flip it open or something?
Yeah, you just...
Maybe that's the collector's edition. It's pop-up.
Maybe.
Comes with the CDI games. Like, please take them.
Also, in gaming news, found out that a reason why we don't have Time Splitters 4 yet, actually I haven't read this story, but... they just... don't have a publisher.
Yeah.
Because they made a game called Haze.
It's just, I mean, recently in the last couple of years, you've had all these developers and publishers just folding and selling off, and so.
But I watched the video, and there's, I watched this guy. I watch a lot. His name is Alpha Omega Sin.
Yeah.
And he had a point. He's sitting there like, why we don't have Time Splitters 4 yet? I mean, it's sitting in the hands of one of the biggest first-person shooter companies.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you could say that about a lot of things.
But the thing about it is, I haven't played Time Splitters in years. I remember one.
Well, that's one of those games, it makes me think to, like, when they put Quake 3 Arena on the arcade. It's like, oh, man.
I was going to get it. I honestly was. And then I,
Did you, and then you played it?
I didn't really play it. I was just like...
To me, I call it the Mario 64 syndrome. Because, like, when I had my Wii... we'll get to that.
You want to get to that? We'll get to that.
I went to the trial... Actually, the second time I bought it, it was specifically for Virtual Console things. Mm-hmm. And one of the first ones I got was Mario 64. I'm like, oh, I remember having so much fun playing this game.
I bought it. I had...
I had the classic guitar. I was like, this game was awesome. I fired it up, and I'm like... Isn't it? Like,
I didn't really have that syndrome.
Like, I didn't get the... I'm going to use a line from Ego Raptor. It's like, I didn't get that childlike wonder that I had before, because I was just kind of like, I thought it was prettier than... I mean, I started breaking it down.
Well, you start breaking down the graphics. Have you seen better graphics? Just like,
it's like... So I compare a lot of things to that, like, like a lot of things you'll jump on because of like, oh my god, I remember that. But it's like...
It's like, yeah, I remember that.
And like Quake 3 for the arcade was one of them. I downloaded the trial, I'm like, oh man, I remember
it's like, it's like, I'm happy to be playing Super Mario 64 again, but when I look at like Quake Arena, I'm just like, God, that looks so...
Oh!
Yeah, I was just like, were they really that blocky?
Yeah, like you just, because you've grown and you've lost that kind of like sense of wonder, I guess.
Yeah. I can play PlayStation 1 games on my PS3 and be like, okay, I remember this. This is fun. It's still fun to me. It's like, but you go to where computer games were, and it's just like, really?
Well, it's because they went, compared to consoles, leaps and bounds, comparatively speaking.
It was just like,
Speaking of Wii and Nintendo-related things...
Yes, I did buy one.
He finally succumbed.
I succumbed
to it.
Look,
like I said, it's not even I
have pros and cons.
Okay. It's not... Okay, I definitely want to hear this. I'm going to make it official, and I'll never say anything else about it.
Okay.
My thing about the Wii U is not necessarily... I'm not necessarily... I mean, I kind of am to a point, but when it comes to my negative opinion of it, specifically, it's not a fanboy thing of, oh, Microsoft so much, oh, Sony's so much better. Yeah. I have my reasons for disliking and liking them individually. My thing about the Wii U specifically...
Right.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it one more time, is they sat there all this time that they've had to watch what's worked for Microsoft, what's worked for PlayStation. And yes, I know, there's red tape, copyrights, stuff they couldn't do because they did it.
Yeah.
But whatever.
There is ways around it.
There's certain ways around it, and whatever. But it's like you have that time, and all you come up with is basically an Xbox with a tablet.
Yeah.
Your only selling point and biggest selling point is
this tablet.
Well, no, not even that. It's just the fandom of Mario, Zelda, the game
So far.
It's like, because, a lot of things from old days, a lot of old PS1 titles.
That reminds
me. We never thought we'd see Crash on anything but...
I gotta say this when you get
okay. Well, it's like you never thought you'd see Crash Bandicoot on anything but Sony. You never thought you'd see Sonic on anything but Sega. So, it's like Nintendo's the only one that's left.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that consoles now don't have their exclusive characters, but they're definitely... You can count them on one hand compared to the old days.
Right. Because in the old days, it was just like, you had Nintendo. Nintendo had who? Mario?
Well, yeah, I mean, they still have the same character now.
Samus and Kirby.
Yeah.
And Star Fox. Then you had Sony. Sony had...
Well, Crash first, technically.
Crash, and then kind of sort of got... Crash.
It was mostly Crash Bandicoot.
Who is the other?
It's not really. I mean, nothing really.
I guess Kratos now, technically.
Yeah, Kratos came along, but... I mean, but you know what I'm saying, though. Right. It's like everyone else is, relatively speaking, branched out, and you can get whatever on whatever, but not Nintendo. Not Mario. Not da-da-da-da-da.
Well, this is what they say will...
And then another thing, they make the big deal of, like, HDMI cable. It's not even true HD. At best, it's 720.
No, it's 1080p. It
really, can't be.
It is.
It can't be.
I don't know. They say
you know as well as I do that unless it's Blu-ray, it can't be.
I don't know. I have to check the disc. I don't think it's Blu-ray, but I have to check the disc.
And they can't make Blu-ray discs because I guarantee you buy the $1.
Well, I mean, somebody who's a famous game company, Microsoft, will have to buy and invest into Blu-rays eventually. I'm not saying there
aren't ways around it, or just...
Or call it their own media, which copyrighted.
But I know. But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like,
Same way with PlayStation Network. They won't be able to Xbox Live. Because
I know, yeah.
Copyright.
But anyway, so what are your pros and cons?
Pros and cons. The controller is definitely easier. It is comfortable. It really is. I didn't think it would be.
Okay. Now, I will agree. I have held the tablet. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still whatever. It's stupid. But, I saw Boogie2988 did an unboxing video, and he actually got the new, I guess, Pro controller, whatever the fuck, not the pad, a controller.
He got the controller.
I couldn't and I can only assume it's copyright reasons. I hope. Because the sticks
are up here. The buttons and the...
I mean, I know it's relative to what you're used to, but that just seems bad design. That is like the first controller ever. Yeah. To have buttons like
down here. Technically, they've had worse. I mean, look at the GameCube controller.
Say what you will, that was a good controller. Everything was accessible.
The Nintendo 64 controller was better, I think.
It's
because
close.
It was here. Or
the Nintendo 64 was more ergonomic.
Yeah.
The GameCube controller did exactly what it needed to do.
Right.
Like the games were designed well for it, and everything worked well with it.
Right.
It was completely overly simplified, I will agree, but yeah, it wasn't the Power Glove.
But, I mean, I got the deluxe set,
Okay.
Pros and cons. Well, the network, their patching system sucks. And, I mean, you really literally have to, for something that should be high speed, you really have to wait a long time to download the patch.
And again, it could be copyright stuff. Like, they can only put
it could be
blah sort of tech in it.
They just haven't got it to where they could compress it down to getting in there. Other than that, it's just like, I'm just waiting on games to come out so far. I mean, they got great games right now.
That's arguable.
Re-releases? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's arguable.
By the way, Adam Sessler is on Revision 3 now.
Oh, yeah, he didn't want to forget that.
And a lot of stuff he says makes sense. Is it a great console? Yes, it can be great. He's just like, I agree with him when he said, he's like, I just wish when they came out with these games that they weren't re-releases. Just, fresh new stuff.
Exactly.
He's like, yes, and Mario is Mario, and it does.
And that's my other thing, too. It's like, all they're doing is playing catch-up.
Yeah.
And it's like...
let's see. I wish they had a better launch. I wish they had their TV out the box. Yeah, like, you can't actually do television service yet.
Well,
pros, though.
I will say, and I would say, if anything else, it would be a pro, but it kind of doesn't... it makes sense, and I get it as a neat little thing because the tech can do it. I didn't know this; it could even do this. But the fact that like some games, and maybe all of them, you don't have to play on the TV; you can just play on the pad.
Right here on the pad.
That's kind of cool.
That is cool.
But
the streaming from the console.
But why not just release a handheld? Well,
they got
that's my thing.
They got their handheld.
I know they did, but do you see my point?
Yeah, I see your point. They had their handheld, and you're just like, yeah. But the cool thing about it is, I mean, it does. I mean, it's a cool little gimmick. It does look into the gameplay, and it does kind of hinder like from having to go to a screen and do stuff to where you can just do it on the fly real quick. And I know some games have that little quick thing, but you gotta set that up.
Well,
but a lot of things, the way that thing streams is just so seamlessly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't doubt that at all.
And Miiverse is actually pretty cool. I haven't gone through all the features in that yet. But
I saw this. Well, like 2 reviews I saw: Zombie U and Batman.
Right.
And Zombie U was a little bit more negative because they're like, it's a neat idea, but it's like it takes forever to kill anything. It's like you're going to use this one weapon because it doesn't wear down, and it takes fucking forever to do anything.
The crack it back.
They're like, and they're like, we get the whole drama of having to look away from the screen to search for something, which I think you can get around. Just don't look away from the fucking screen, but. And they're like, you have to do this way too often, sometimes you won't get anything. Yeah. They're like, it's a neat idea, but it's overplayed. And the same thing goes for Batman. In interview, they're like, honestly, it's really good. Yeah. They're like, did it necessarily need to be called not Game of the Year Edition? No. Yeah. They're like, because the whole armored thing is basically fighting with the tech division on. Yeah. So, and they're like, and like, I think game trailers are like, and the one negative thing we have to say is like, when you had to use the tablet or the gadget. And it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, it's still like I guess it is a straight. Is it still a straight port or is it something new?
It's ish. It's kind of like an update.
The games that are really making me excited. There's only a few out, and then there's more that's coming. Like I'm interested in this game called The Wonderful 101. It looks pretty cool.
Okay,
that's something from that I've never seen before done.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
It's like you're 100 superheroes. Take Pikmin and combine it with an action superhero game.
Okay.
That's the premise of it. It's
that
like
can be neat,
you can combine all these heroes to do powerful shit, and the graphics on it look pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's one cool game I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate when that comes out. Because honestly, I haven't played a Monster Hunter game forever.
Was it Monster Hunter? No, I don't think it was Monster Hunter. I just remember some monster-based game that back in the day you could put in a music CD.
It might have been the first Monster Hunter.
Because it was on PlayStation. It's like you could put in like a music.
No, that's Monster Rancher you're thinking.
Yeah,
and a monster would.
Yeah, and it would actually because I remember like it was always a gag.
Monster Hunter is like that action online game.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I mean, it's pretty decent so far. I wish I had more games to play. I only had Nintendo Land right now. And the biggest gripe about that is there's only certain games that you can do single, and there's certain games you can do multiplayer.
Oh, everything you have to have other people?
Well, not everything. It's just certain stuff. It makes it better to play 2 people. I mean, you can play one player, but it makes it better to have 2 people. One more other gripe that I got is that you need to play, like, your Wii games, you have to have a Wii mode. And I'm just like, really? You couldn't... could they patch that? Yes, they could patch it.
I don't know.
I don't see them patching it, because there is games where you can actually use, like, a gamepad to play.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The ones that could use a gamepad, yeah. But the ones that are straight...
To even go to, like, the Wii stuff, you gotta have a Wii mode.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. But, and another point that Cecily brought up is like, okay, I want to chat. You know, he's playing chat with people, and it's like, but he said you only have like an earphone jack, and it's just like, but it's like if I don't want to use the earphone jack, I want to use the other controller. So I would actually have to plug a headset into the gamepad to chat and all that. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of stupid. Why would you?
Well, again, that falls back on the copyrights and what it's like. I think it's to that point now. That's what's limiting every system, almost to a point.
But nowadays, when I get on an online game, I rarely want to chat with anybody.
Well, Yeah, I know that feeling.
So I'm just like, that really doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, I can't talk with anybody. Like, do you really want to hear?
Hopefully, with the advent of this little booger,
Yeah.
this episode will also go up on his channel, which I'll definitely put a link over on Mountain Films, and it may or may not have some cool editing done to it.
Yeah, it'll probably have some cool editing.
I'll probably like
Thanks.
have devil horns or God knows what. Be turned.
No, you won't have devil horns, but they'll probably be like pictures.
I'll be turned into a giant fart or
Random
something.
captions may appear below.
Yeah, or like cross the screen.
Yeah.
I'll be turned into like a giant talking fart or something.
There'll probably be music.
Yeah, have an intro. Hopefully.
Yeah, have an intro. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'll figure it out.
So, and that'll be coming soon.
Yeah.
Because we've had issues. Because fuck normal memory sticks. But anyway.
16 gigs.
Yeah.
Black Friday. $7.
Yeah. So, until next time.
And then, by the way, go check out Adam Sessler. If you
Yeah,
like.
go
You're
check it
Sessler fan.
I got some more reviews coming. I managed to pick up a couple more Ninja Turtles, which I had to migrate to a shelf.
Did you get the toys? I saw some new stuff over there. It looks like Metalhead.
Yeah, I got Metalhead and the Krang.
I don't see Krang.
He's in the back. You probably can't see him.
See if that's you.
Yeah. Yeah, just when I'll go over it in the review, but if you think the Foot Soldier was bad, you ain't got the Krang.
Oh, God.
But anyway, I'll get into that in the
You made
review.
it sound like the gout. You got the Krang.
I mean, Anyway, the best part of the figure is basically the alien. They could double as a pencil eraser. But anyway, until next time, I'm Cthulhu the Dark One. He's Bullet Marks, and this has been the Roundtable.